Hi, welcome to another edition of Weekend Box Office Prediction and Movie Review. Today is April 8th, 2016. My name is Craig and I'm your host. Hey, we're going to review 3 new movies that are coming out this weekend, give you predictions on those as well as some holdovers, and also give you some movie news on Batman vs. Superman, Doctor Strange, and a little quick update on the Warner Brothers movie company themselves. So, new movies. First one is Hardcore Henry. It stars Sharito Copley, Tim Roth, and Haley Bennett. It's a first-person story, and that's what you actually see, kind of like a video game. And I tell you what, this is a very unusual movie that I've not seen done previously. At least nothing's coming quickly to mind. But kind of gives you a Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto kind of mixed together. And that's kind of what the movie's about from what I'm gathering. So, but it's a movie about Henry, who is actually brought back to life by his wife. And almost immediately, or just a few moments later, he's under gunfire. His wife is kidnapped by a warlord. And all this takes place in a day in Moscow, Russia. So he gets a little bit of help from a guy named Jimmy throughout the movie. And that's other than that. He's trying to figure out who he is, doesn't know who he is, the RoboCop theme there going on, and at the same time trying to rescue his wife. So obviously at some point he discovers who she is, or she tells him who she is from the start before things happen. So hey, this movie's been, overall the ratings have been okay, decent, about 6s, some 7s, I think 1.8. I've seen as low as 4, but most of them have been right around 6, 7. So it's going to have a decent weekend. It's playing in over 3,000 theaters at an hour and 36 minutes. I see this movie coming in right at this weekend at $10.2 million. Next is the movie Demolition. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal, Naomi Watts, and Chris Cooper. This movie is about Davis, who loses his wife in a car crash, and he struggles with, he's not really missing his wife, but at the same time, he is, but he's also struggling with moving on with life. So, kind of real quick, what the movie's about. His father-in-law keeps encouraging him to, hey, you got to move on, you got to move on, you got to move on. So, in one point, he's at the vending machine, puts 5 quarters in, his M&Ms get stuck. I kind of laugh because it's happened to all of us, especially when you have that last dollar or whatever, and you really want that Snicker bar or whatever it is, and it just gets stuck, takes your money, whatever. So he ends up writing a letter to the vending company, telling what happened, and he also reveals a little bit about himself. Well, over the course of the next few weeks, he ends up writing 3 more letters before he actually gets a response, and he gets a call in the middle of the night, and it's from Karen, and she's basically asking him, hey, we got your letters, you getting some help, blah, blah, blah. So they end up meeting, and that's where the story goes. Another odd thing with how he's kind of coping with things, he's taken things apart from a refrigerator to the bathroom stalls. So this movie's had very decent to excellent reviews, a lot of 7s and 8s for this movie. Originally, it was only going to play in about 500 theaters, and then the number I saw as of yesterday was 850, so it's obviously screening very well. I see this movie doing having a good weekend. My prediction for it is $4.5 million. Next movie for the weekend is The Boss, and it stars Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Bell, Peter Dinklage, Kathy Bates, a few others as well. Basically a raunch fest comedy, usually what you get with Melissa McCarthy. But she's playing a character named Michelle Darnell, and she is the wealthiest woman in America, and she gets caught doing insider trading. So she loses all of her money, goes bankrupt, and 6 months later she gets out of jail. So she's got to figure out a way to make money, and she comes up with a scheme to sell brownies, kind of compete with the group called the Dandelions. And I will admit, just from a part that I watched, was you see her character actually hit one of the Dandelion girls when they're in a big fight for ground or territory on selling. So pretty funny movie overall from those things when you see, but like I said, though, it's going to be a raunch fest, so there's obviously, if you're touching those kind of things, may not be a movie for you. But this movie will have a good weekend. Ratings stink to high heaven for this movie. I have seen it as low as 10% on Rotten Tomatoes earlier in the week. When I checked, the last number I checked, it was up to 19%, so it's not going to do much better than that, probably. However, it's going to have a big weekend. It's playing in, I think, close to 3,500 theaters, hour and 40 minutes roughly. So my prediction for this movie is $20.8 million. It does have a chance to take number one from Batman already, so it will be a neck-and-neck race potentially based on how the two movies perform. So holdovers, I just mentioned Batman vs. Superman. I'm going to give it a 55% drop. I believe it'll hold on to number one. I'm going to give it a prediction of $23.1 million. Next is Zootopia. I see it at only a 25% drop, and I'm going to give it a prediction of $14.5 million. Next is My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. I'm going to give it a prediction of $6.7 million. Miracles from Heaven is next. I'm going to give it a prediction of $4.5 million. Allegiant, I believe, will come in at $3.5 million for this coming weekend. God's Not Dead 2, I give it a prediction of $3.81 million. And last is 10 Cloverfield Lane. I'm going to give it a prediction of $2.6 million. Hey, give you some movie news that's going on. One is the movie Doctor Strange. Scott Derrickson, who is the director of the movie, actually said that he has wrapped up filming already on the movie. So great news to hear that it's progressing very well. Definitely should be coming out this fall. I think it's November if I remember right. So I'm looking forward to that. But also, in case you didn't know, it has been confirmed that this is the second of the Civil War trilogy of the Civil War movies that are coming out. So in case you didn't know that fact, I thought I'd throw it out there. As for Doctor Strange appearing in Captain America Civil War, still nothing confirmed. I believe he'll be in an end credit. I really see Doctor Strange, though, being more of a character that's going to bring everything back together than actually being a participant. There was a GIF image going around this past week that he was on Team Captain America, and it looked like he fit in really well, but it was an edited photo in case you did see it. But overall, though, I believe, though, that he will be more getting the sides back together on however they end up wrapping this up, but I believe that's the role he will play. Hey, give me your thoughts or predictions, what you think Doctor Strange will be in the comments below, and I'll check those out. So, next is the movie Batman vs. Superman. This movie, you know, when it was talk last winter, I'd say as early as December, if not January, this was the next $2 billion movie, and that's worldwide gross. Now, this past week, the movie experts are predicting it may reach $1 billion, but it's going to struggle to get there if it does. So, really didn't take an expert to come up with that based on what it did last weekend and how it's going to probably perform until it is done. However, though, Warner Brothers is going to make a little bit of money off this movie. You know, it's not going to obviously make $1 billion. Is probably what they had originally predicted. However, though, you know, I think it's building a great foundation for DC Comics. They got a lot of movies in line. If they do them right and you know, make a quality product, you know, I think they did that with Batman vs. Superman. Of course, you can always tweak things, but you know, they got to get started somewhere again, and I think they've done that. So it's just going to take some time, and don't be changing dates. Stay firm on them. Don't start ticking the fan off any more than you have to. That way they know, hey, when Aquaman's coming out, it's coming out here. Put it out, you know, but don't put out a disaster movie at the same time. So. But last, also just a little bit on Warner Brothers themselves. Hollywood Reporter actually put an article out this past week, and you know, they've had a lot of high-dollar movies that have done very poorly. And just to mention a couple is Jupiter Ascending, which was just a disaster. The movie Pan, Peter Pan, and also In the Heart of the Sea, which was just out recently. So they've had a lot of movies that have not made money at all. So it's kind of the concern with the DC comic line as well, is that maybe they will cut out some of the lower end budget guys and maybe just stick with, you know, just Batman, Superman. I hope they don't. Otherwise, you know, it's let someone else take over the franchise, and that way the movies can be made out. So you can have Aquaman, Justice League individual characters, and those kind of things as well. So last but not least, in case you are not from planet Earth, Star Wars The Force Awakens came out this week on Blu-ray DVD. Came out a few 3 or 4 days before that on digital copy. Well, this came with a digital copy, but the HD and all that, so where you could stream it online. So in case you weren't aware of it, go ahead and pick yourself a copy up, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it like I have. So another movie that I recently got was Creed, and I thoroughly have enjoyed watching it. Kind of a very different take. You know, it was a little bit, you know, modernization, you could say. But I really like the movie. I can't wait to see that they do come out with a sequel. So I just thought I'd mention that as well. If you haven't seen it yet, I'd definitely check it out. So, hey, that's it for today's show. I'll be back Monday with the actual numbers from this past weekend's box office once the numbers are reported. Thank you for subscribing. I'm 2 away now from revealing what my nickname will be that I'll use from that point on. I'm real excited about sharing that with you. And hey, giving you predictions you can count on that are better than Weatherman. Take care.